Call this meeting of Lebanon County Board of Commissioners to order. Would you join me in a moment of silence, please? Thank you. And please rise. Pledge the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You. Time for public comment. Have any public comment this morning? Okay. Don't want to put you on the spot.
I got nothing.
Okay. Moving on, we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of November 6th.
Second.
Okay, motion is second, and we'll note for the record that board met yesterday, November 19th, in executive session to discuss personnel matters, and is our plan to do so today following this meeting, again, in executive session to continue that discussion on personnel matters. Any other questions or comments?
Not related, but are the mics on?
Oh, no. Dawn's not here, so you know.
Thank you. No question.
So any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Those minutes are approved. Thank you. Thanks, Tobias.
Good morning.
Join us, introduce yourself, maybe pull that microphone down towards you a little bit. There you go.
Tina Tobias, acting treasurer. We started our cash with $1,272,948.32. We had receipts of $4,286,018.17, which brought our cash to $5,558,966.49. Less our expenditures of $2,416,960.26. And I did some transferring of $1,300,000 to other accounts. Less our tax claim, which was $27,061.88, which brought our cash balance to $1,814,944.35.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report subject to audit.
Not sure we audit this, but I'll second the motion.
Should a second, questions or comments? None, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Tina, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Thank you. Good morning. Please introduce yourself for the record and you may proceed.
Michelle Idris Snavely, Director of Human Resources. Under Personnel Transactions, Resignations and Terminations, Tyler Brubaker, 911 Supervisor, Department of Emergency Services, termination effective November 17th. Maritza Bell Perez, Office Support 2/Interpreter 1, Domestic Relations, resignation effective November 21st. Diane Little, DJ, Office Support 1 at MDJ Wolf's office, retirement effective January 1st, with the last working day being January 9th. Timothy Ortiz, DJ, Office Support 1 at MDJ Figueroa's office, termination effective November 10th.
Second.
A second, questions or comments? None, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign and terminations approved.
Under leaves of absence, Ravathi Minochi from courts, law clerk, 2-week and 2-day leave of absence effective December 11th with an expected return date of December 29th. And James Hunt, Sheriff's Office, 13 working day, 19 calendar day, all unpaid leave of absence effective December 23rd, expected return date of January 12th.
I move to approve the leaves of absence as presented.
Second.
Motion is second, questions, comments? None, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign and that's approved.
Changes of status, transfers, and promotion. Lucia Miranda, promotion from caseworker 1 in children and youth to caseworker 2 at the rate of $1,698.62 biweekly effective November 23rd. Elizabeth Weant, change of status from casual part-time correctional officer at the Lebanon County Correctional Facility to full-time correctional officer at the rate of $22.71 per hour, effective December 21st. Elia Ward, promotion from Office Support 2 and Probation Services to Probation Aide at the rate of $1,240.62 biweekly, effective November 24th. Brianne McKeish, promotion from temporary law clerk in the Public Defender's Office to Assistant Public Defender 1 at the rate of $2,530.05 biweekly, effective October 26th.
Motion,
I thought I had an extra one on there.
Oh,
So,
Second.
motion is second. Questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is approved.
Under other transactions, Area Agency on Aging would like to hire Bethany Rissinger Pell as a part-time meal transporter at the rate of $12.38 per hour, effective December 1st.
So moved.
second.
Motion is second. Questions? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Transactions approved.
Moving on to salary board, if there are no questions regarding the transactions presented, is there a motion to adopt these transactions onto the salary board?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Questions or comments? None, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Public defender, assistant public defender.
Yeah, Brianne McKeish.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. The second box was confusing.
Oh,
That's why.
that's what she's got.
Was the new too.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you. Along.
Do you want me to move ahead?
Yeah.
Because they're, I don't even think
That's
they're out here
fine.
yet.
It's fine.
We're way ahead. I can try to do that. And strike it from the back end. Um, I have three items. First is nominees for the Lebanon Conservation District Director appointment. We sought nominations from the eligible nominating organizations, of which a list is provided to us from the state to solicit nominations. We received three of those back for the positions of farmer director and public director on the Conservation District. As you'll see in your packet, we received from Lebanon Valley Rails Trails, Calvin Miller, first choice for farmer director, and Bob Arnold, first choice for public director. From the Ag Preservation Board, the same, Calvin Miller, first choice farmer director, Robert Miller, not Bob Arnold. I think that was supposed to be Robert Arnold. It's the same address, Bob Arnold.
Bob Arnold.
Bob Arnold's Ranch Avenue, Lebanon. You see, they're both the same. Farmland Preservations they put Miller down twice, but should be Arnold.
Mhm.
And then the third one was from the Lebanon County Federation of Sportsmen's Clubs, and they did not fill out the farmer director, but the public director was for Glenn Reinhardt of Anvil. So as you typically do, you take the sum. So you have two nominations for Calvin Miller, two for Bob Arnold, one for Glenn Reinhardt.
Make a motion to approve Calvin Miller and Bob Arnold.
I'll second the motion.
Motion is second. Questions or comments? If not, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. They're approved.
Yeah, I have a hotel tax grant fund application from the Mount Gretna Summer Concerts. These would be obviously summer of 2026. The Tabernacle in Mount Gretna. They are seeking a $5,000 grant on a total project cost of $6,700. They're seeking it to advertise the concerts, which are available to all parties on a pay-what-you-want basis, so that people of all economic means can attend. They advertise themselves as Pennsylvania's home for popular music. There is an enclosed, not enclosed, it's on the back side, but the letter of request lists all of their advertising expenses that make up that budget. And talks about the visitation they get from various states. They have had between 700 and 1,200 people for their productions last year. They have musicians coming from Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey, Lancaster, Harrisburg, Reading. They have people coming from a 2 to 3 hour radius, as well as people who book their stays at nearby hotel rooms. So
I don't think I got that one, but I've been to their concerts and they're well done. So I'll gladly make a motion to approve.
I do support the 5,000.
you are or
I'm
not? Okay.
So we don't,
Was that a motion?
that was a
Okay.
motion, yes. So you're not second, so would you like to make a motion for?
Yeah, I was heavily weighted all the advertising for a lot of, for the local Lebanon Countyans. And I thought that maybe doing 50% of their budget would be a good gesture on their part. So I would be putting up $3,350.
So there's a motion for $3,350 to allocate to that request. Is there a second?
Well, I'm not going to deny them everything, so I will support it.
John, you didn't even review it.
Pardon?
You didn't even review it.
I didn't get it
I'm saying, so how are you making these,
because I
they do a
have
good-
been to the concerts and I understand how well done they are.
I'm not testing the quality of the music. I'm just suggesting that they're asking for 5,000. I think the budget, the way I read it, that it should be, carved out a little bit.
I'm not arguing. I'm going to support it, sir. I don't know what you're arguing about.
Before we continue any discussion, is there a second for that motion?
Yes, I second it.
Okay, well,
Should I just
now
procedurally, if he had a motion?
that,
Has to be
that motion died for lack of second.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. I thought he was amending that motion, but if it died okay, then I didn't catch that part. Thank you.
I
Okay.
did not say that, sorry, but thank you for correcting. So we have a motion and a second for the amount of about $33,350.
350.
$3,350.
Yes, so
We just had with the total.
any
budget.
discussion, further discussion on the matter? Not all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Have that amount approved.
Apologize.
Got that, Jamie?
I got it now. I didn't hear if it was an amendment or died per second. Sorry. Then I have the disabled veteran exemptions, just one this time. They are Lev Stowe of Fieldstone Drive, Anvil.
I'll make a motion to approve the disabled veteran exemption.
I'll second the motion.
Motion is second. Any questions or comments? None, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, and that exemption is approved.
Anything else is for the LVRT, unless you also want to do Matt's, please.
Well,
America
Jamie,
P
would you
250,
wanna
did we
use-
do that?
want to use this time, our
It's on
acting
my,
treasurer reported that our cash flow seems a little better. You want to report on budget update and how that's going to impact and our timing to present final budget?
So the timing for the budget is December 4th. I'll need to have everything kind of buttoned up before Thanksgiving, since we're closed on the Friday after. And Angel will have to put it all into the packets and so on. So really, by next Wednesday, I need to have every question answered, I guess. We have begun to see some of the state money flow back in. Tina's doing a good job of shepherding that or bird dogging that every single day to see what's coming in and flowing back. So if the decision to balance the budget with existing reserves on hand is the decision or is the direction we might go, the funding is back in. If you remember 2 weeks ago, I talked about cash on hand. I can't balance with cash we don't have, and we had used up that cash. At least the set asides for 2026. We were about to be out of that and sometime early December, but that's back in again. So there's cash back there that we can rely on to balance if that's,
Excuse me,
if that's
when
needed.
you say the cash is back in there, did we get that from the state?
Some of it's state, some of it's interest that we moved over. Yes, we didn't get it all back yet, but we got 3 million, maybe
How much?
about 3 million so far. But it's evident that it's, the transfers are moving. So I would expect there'd be maybe even more this week yet, definitely some next week. So by the time the budget comes around, I believe we're okay now. But even then, by the time the budget comes, we should be back to where we were in terms of what we're owed. So that is an option that's back on the table again. I think I had mentioned that if that cash wasn't there, then it may have been necessary to do some millage just to put the cash, to have the cash on hand or to have it balanced, but we're okay there. As far as the budget itself, there's still some personnel items pending and possibly some vacancies, but not the kinds of vacancy cuts that we made in past years, because we're just seeing a little bit more retention and recruitment, and I think that has to do with the job market has shifted a bit. Seems the Great Resignation is now long over, and we're able to keep some people. We're doing well at the prison, sheriff's department, some of the larger places. So we're still struggling at Renova, but I think that has to more to do with the industry in healthcare than it does with anything else. So to make adjustments there is going to be difficult, more difficult than it was other years. So I do think we're still going to end up somewhere between a $4 and $5 million gap, and how you choose to fill that is the key, is the decision. So
I'm glad for the lower vacancy rate.
yeah, I mean, it was an easy
Toward.
Yes, that's what we worked toward. It was easy to cut those things, knowing that the reality was that we weren't going to fill those, and so we didn't have to budget for them. But now we're in a different position, and that's fine. We need those filled. So hopefully that's what you were looking for. But yeah, we've got a few more days yet here to work on it.
Okay.
Would
For
it be,
Thanksgiving.
would it be asking Tina too much to give us a weekly update of the money returned from the state and, how much we're owed and what we're waiting on? It would really be helpful.
Well, I have a printout here, but your treasurer's report. The third last page, it's always included. It has the reserves on it. And you'll see at the bottom, the zeros, which used to be millions, the zeros were what we used up for the state to backfill what the state would have given us otherwise. And on the right side, then it tells how much and when it was used. So then the next,
Can I see that, Jamie? Thank you. It doesn't, oh, yes, it does say the amount.
she just this morning gave to me another printout, which includes, since that was printed, which includes the monies that came back in. So
Oh,
pass those down if you want to see them. But basically what I just described is now shown on that page.
okay, this has the amounts.
Yeah, and you can see what they cover then if you look at the dates in the third column.
Okay, payroll.
Payroll January, payroll February.
Right. Is
Okay.
this,
You can have that.
can I? Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Would please introduce yourself for the record and proceed?
Good morning, Matt Bugley, Lebanon County Solicitor. I have one item for the board's consideration this morning. This is a lease agreement between the county and the Borough of Cleona relative to space, which is utilized by District Court 52-3-04. This is Judge Ditzler's office. The terms are substantially the same as previous lease agreements that we've had over the years. We have leased that space for the use of Judge Ditzler's office for quite some time. One of the differences, however, is this is a longer term. This is a 4-year term. It begins January 1, 2026, and it goes through 2029. The rent increases in increments of $25 each year. After the first year, the rent will be $1,125. It'll increase then $25 each year thereafter. I do want to note that there is a typo for year 2 in the contract that was put in your packets. That amount should be $1,150, not $11,500 per month. So I just wanted to clarify that, and I made the correction on the version that the board will sign. So that is, like I said, substantially the same as what we have had in previous years. And the county still has the burden then of providing certain renovations and also certain furniture and things of that sort.
They did want if you'll recall, they wanted a 1 year. This would have been renewed for a longer term last year,
Yeah.
but Cleona wanted just a 1 year, I guess, to explore options on what they may do, and so they've obviously decided to keep us.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Questions, comments? And all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's all I have.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Pull the microphone over closer to you a little bit, and if you would, please introduce yourself for the record and may proceed.
Thank you, Commissioner Kuhn. Good morning, commissioners and everyone here that's here. I'm Tom Cote. I'm a Rail Trail board member, and we're here today to talk to you about 3 different things. One is a grant application request, and we have 2 grant approval letters that need to be signed by you that extend those grants that we have already in place. Let me provide some things to the media. Can we first talk about phase 6D? That's our current grant application that we're working on. I believe, commissioners, you have a packet that I provided to you, hopefully.
Unfortunately, my materials are not available, and so therefore I did not. Thank you.
Always helps to bring 1 or 2 extra copies. I happen to lose things all the time. But the grant request is for phase 6D. This is the right of way through the Lebanon Valley Mall property. This is the last remaining unfinished section of the rail trail in the urbanized area. Really exciting for us to get to this milestone. So we're submitting a grant application to DCED. The rail trail is going to be using exclusively, again, mall property. Mall's very comfortable with this. We have a long-term linear easement in place. It's been filed here at the courthouse. That was done earlier in the year. They actually approved the final design of the phase 6D in a letter to us a few months ago. So we're moving forward. Preliminary engineering for this phase and environmental clearance is underway. We have the funds set aside, thanks to you and LBRT Inc., to do final design. So we're going to be doing final design concurrently as this application is being reviewed and hopefully approved. Sometime next year, sometime late next year. So we're really excited about that. The rail trail, I think, as you know, is gaining momentum and we're getting very close to completion. But The end dates and start dates for this project will be, we'll start work potentially April of 2027 and complete the work by the end of the calendar year, or excuse me, by the end of July,
Of 2027.
Yeah.
Very short project, to do and very easy to take care of. It's basically removing some few parking spaces, a few obstacles in the way, milling and paving and things like that. And again, the mall is very excited about this because they want pedestrians to go right through the mall. They're gonna put up some designations that encourage people that are walkers to go right through the mall. Because I guess they hope they shop and buy something along the way, but this is really exciting. If you think where we've come from 8 or 10 years ago, when we were arguing with Norfolk Southern about an alignment and it all fell through, and now we've got a more perfect alignment that gets more people through the Johnny Wayment Memorial Park, along Chestnut Street, onto 22nd Street, and then into the mall. It's just a much better alignment for everyone, safer, more convenient. So we're really excited about this. The grant application is for $711,388. That would all be DCED statewide local share account funds. And those LSA funds come from gambling. Those are proceeds that come from gambling that are kept statewide and then designated to the various areas where there are gambling establishments or into a statewide account. And we're applying into the statewide account for these funds.
Could you describe the path?
Yeah, you actually have an attachment if you can take a look at that.
But if you're familiar with the mall and the round.
Yep. If you look at sheet one, you'll see where US 422 in the mall entrance is. We're going to be doing some pavement work there along the sidewalk and along the roadway. The rail trail will hug the west side of that entrance roadway. Come to the point where that first internal major roadway is, and then work its way over to a central location where pedestrians in those green dots will enter the building if they choose to do so. If you don't choose to do so, the rest of the riders or users of the rail trail will wrap around the east side of the property. The east side of the property, go to the back of the mall property, and then work their way over to 25th Street at the underpass. And there we're going to be putting up all new traffic control equipment, push button equipment, so pedestrians and bicyclists will have their own phase to go under the tunnel, under that one-way tunnel.
Well, you mentioned bicycles. May I ask, are they allowed to push their bicycles through the mall? Or must they go around if they're on bicycle?
Well, that's a good question, Joan. We have not heard that. I can ask.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I don't know.
People are gonna ask me that.
Oh, yeah. Or they may ask us that as well. I'll find that out.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. But that's the alignment of the rail trail through the central entranceway to the center of the mall, entrance to the building, or around to the east and back side of the buildings, and then tying into 25th Street underpass. Okay? And we need today an approval by you to sign a resolution and to seal the resolution, and then that'll be attached to the application. And I think, Jamie, you should have it. I think I gave you one original and 2 copies.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, you don't need the copies if you have the original, but I would need that approval today from the commissioners, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the plan as presented. And the total amount again was,
For the grant, $711,388.
thank you.
You're very welcome.
I just want to be clear that this includes the extension request for phase 6. Is that,
Well, do you want to do all those in one?
you know, if you're bundling or.
No, this one.
Just if you don't mind.
All right,
Thank you,
I'll second the
Commissioner.
motion.
Okay, motion is second. Is there any questions? Not all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. You have that approval.
Thank you,
That's
Commissioner.
the meeting concludes.
Yeah, As Commissioner Phillips said, we have two grant extension letters we need your approval of. The first one is for the rail trail grant for phase 6. When we originally received that grant, it was to be used for design and approval of the first section of the rail trail that went through the Johnny Wayland Memorial Park. As we got into that, DCNR said to us, why don't you use all those funds to design the project? So we changed the scope of work to development or design. And as you can see, we're talking today, we're still not completed with phase 6C on 22nd Street or 6D. So we need an extension letter for 1 year signed by you folks that goes from 12/31/2025 to 12/31/2026. I think John Fiske drafted a letter for your signature, commissioners, and maybe Jamie has it in front of him.
I just need a little bit more clarification. 6C is 25th Street,
22nd.
22nd
Yeah,
Street.
that's the section that will go to construction next year. That's
Okay.
fully funded
And 6D is
through the mall.
through the mall.
6D is through the mall, correct,
Okay.
Commissioner?
Very good. Thank you so much.
Well, you're very welcome.
I'll gladly make a motion to approve those two.
I'll gladly second.
Motion is second. Other questions or comments? Not all.
Just a quick one. Well, Tom, just a couple of things. One, I see when this design, it shows one bike rack.
Mhm.
So if you're encouraging people now, granted, maybe you're not having like hundreds of people come into the mall all the time, but I only see one bike rack at one. So I guess,
And that's intentional because the mall only wanted us to install one bike rack.
okay,
Yeah.
but you're putting a pedestrian trail. The
Yes.
trail will go through the mall
Oh, you
for
betcha.
foot traffic.
You betcha.
Okay,
Mhm.
and then will 6C and this 6D both be completed at the same time when you talk about 6D being the final part of the piece of the puzzle for the urban part of the rail trail? Are they happening concurrently or what is the timeline for 6C versus 6D being completed?
That's a really good question. They're gonna be staged. 6C will go under construction next year and be finished in 2027. It's a long project because if you remember, that's a road relocation, a new bridge, lots of facility changes at 22nd Street and 422 and 22nd and the southern end of the project, a lot of work to be done. So that's a long project. It'll be done starting in 2027. This work will start for phase 6D if we get the grant application right at the very end of that project. When 6C concludes, 6D will start work.
So 6C is start and finish in 2027 or
Start in 2026.
6C will start, okay.
Yeah, it's about an 18-month project.
And in when spring, summer, fall? For 6C?
Oh, beginning spring,
in spring.
spring of 26. That is correct. That is correct.
Then how long will 6D take?
Only a few months.
Oh,
That's gonna be the April through July timeframe. This is a real quick project. 6D is a very, very fast project.
okay.
Okay?
So C starts next spring.
Yep.
And takes its way through mid-27.
Yep.
C starts in 27, but probably will finish up about the same time C and D
Yeah.
together.
July.
Could very well be if weather and conditions, are favorable, it'll happen.
Wanted to kind of blend them together. So
Yep.
they're going
Yep.
in alphabetical order, I guess.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Tom, just kind of general comment, what does that really mean for everyone involved with the rail trail to have the urban section done? Finally completed and open to the public?
Yeah, it really means that we're really gonna be focusing, on not just recreational opportunities, but destinational trip making. If you look at that section of the rail trail now, phase 6A, B, and C, you'll just see how many pedestrians and folks use the trail to get to key destinations along 422. So it's really important for us to provide access and safety and security, for the residents, of our area. Obviously, tourists and visitors will use this section of the trail too, but it's really important for the residents that they get this accommodation. Really is. Okay? And the second grant extension request letter is for phase 10A and B. Now we're out north of Jonestown, Phase 10A is currently under construction. That's the section from US Route 22 to Pine Tree Road. That's under construction right now. And then 10B will go from Pine Tree Road all the way out to Lickdale Road and to the entrance to the KOA campground. But boy, a lot keeps moving out there with that project. There's some new ownership. We have some new easements to acquire. There's been some delays in DEP permitting and trying to sort out what the permits need to be. So with easements and design and soil testing and a whole variety of things, we need to request a time extension for 2 years for phase 10A and 10B. That would go from 12/31/2025 to 12/31/2027. So that's a
Say those
2 year.
numbers again.
It'll go from 12/31/2025,
December.
from December of this year to late December of 2027.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve the request for the extension as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Motion second.
I don't,
Questions or comments?
where is Pine Tree Road?
Remember where the old state police barracks used to be?
Yeah.
On 72? The road just north of there is Pine Tree Road.
Goes east.
Goes east. Really windy, curvy road.
At Bunker Hill?
No,
North of that.
way north of Bunker Hill. Way north of
At the
Bunker.
at the old barracks,
Oh,
like where Miller's Restaurant is, that
Yes,
area.
yeah.
oh,
turn-
out to Miller's Restaurant.
You turn right and now Pine Tree Road, and like he said, it takes a couple of winds and then it's in the woods to the right. You don't see it from the road.
I do know, well, no, I know where it goes out Bunker Hill. I can't imagine it at the moment, but that's okay.
It's a trek back to where it is.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
So this is an extension of an already approved,
Grant.
okay.
Both of these are DCNR grants. Yep. You're very
We
welcome.
have
Thank you.
motion and a second. Any additional questions or comments? Favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
The same sign, you have that approved.
Thank you, gentlemen. Lady. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank
Favorite
you,
time
you
of
too,
year.
and thank you and everybody involved in the Rail Trail Project for your perseverance and your dedication all the time you put into it. It's truly an asset for Lebanon County.
It's a pleasure for us to work with you and Jamie and others on this team.
Any chance that's an extra copy you could leave with me, your
Yeah.
packet?
Yeah. Get the right things together, Commissioner. That's another complete packet.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
All theirs.
Yeah, say familiar, don't we?
Like church, always say the same, might just switch.
Good morning, please. Make yourselves comfortable and whoever wants to kick it off and introduce yourselves for the record and then you may proceed.
Sure. Thank you for having us this morning. My name is Brett Holland with Stifel Financial, and my business partner, Mike Battistelli, with Stifel as well. And then today we're honored to have Brian Payne. He's a director with Dearborn Investments. Dearborn's, we were just actually chatting out there for a minute or two that the relationship's about 7 or 8 years, and he's been his organization has been working with the county, so they've served us well and continue to do so. So he's with us this morning. He's going to give an update, and their focus is more on dividends, those types of equities. So he'll go through that in a few minutes. So if I could ask you, if you turn to page 4, it's kind of where we'll get started. The same report that we typically go through with you all. And on page 4, again, this report, just I always like to remind you, is for the last full calendar quarter. So it's for July, August, and September. And then the top left-hand area is kind of where we'll be focusing at. And the current period, which would again be for the quarter, at the beginning value of the third quarter, the balance for the pension was $141,972,566. And then the number underneath that, the negative number, that's cash flow distributions of 2.7 million to pay our folks that are retired. And then the return during that time was a little over 5 million in a positive return. And then the ending value was 360,549 dollars. And underneath that is the return for the period for the third quarter of 3.61%. And then the column to the right is just a year-to-date number, so January 1st through September 30th, with the balance beginning at 138 million at the beginning of the year, and then ending again at 144 million, with about $5 million worth of withdrawals for retirees, about $10 million of appreciation, and then a year-to-date return of a little over 8%, 8.05%. And then on the bottom right hand area is just your overall allocation, the pie chart that we like to mention. And Mike's going to talk a little bit about the cash equivalents that we have there. It's listed as about 1%, but he's going to touch base on that a little bit more so. But as we move clockwise, the equity or the stock portion is about 66%. Fixed income is 28%, and the alternative investments, which is again the REIT portfolio, is about 5%. The allocation, we use withdrawals at times to kind of keep things allocated. So sometimes if we're getting a little heavier in one area when we're making withdrawals for the retirees, that's kind of the way that does kind of maintain its balance. And then there have been times when we've rebalanced things a little bit after presenting to you folks. Dearborn over there on the left-hand side is the fourth one listed down there. They have about 17.9 million, about 12.5% of the total. So any questions on any of that at all? And then if I could ask you just to go to page 6. So page 6 of 11 has a little longer perspective, which again kind of comes into play for planning purposes. On page 6 of 11, again, over on the kind of the right-hand side of the page, you'll see some of the time periods of 1, 3, 5, and 10 years. And if you drop to the bottom of those columns, and I think probably the 10-year number is the one that oftentimes you're focused on for actuarial numbers and so on. And the 10-year column, if you go to the bottom, over the last 10 years through the end of the third quarter, the pension account has averaged 7.88% during that time frame. So any questions at all with any of that? And then Mike has a little bit more up-to-date numbers with allocations and things like that.
So Fred gets to present the good news. Unfortunately, since the end of September, the markets have been a little more volatile. You guys have probably seen that and noticed that. So performance is down a little bit from that third quarter end. So we are at, again, unaudited, we are positive 6.26% at this point through yesterday's close, with a balance of $140,613,456. Okay. Allocation is really identical to third quarter end, and we're not really recommending any changes to that allocation. It's still within the investment policy statement. We think we're positioned fairly well. I will point out we do have enough cash on hand for the next 4 months of distributions for the retirees. And we're always looking for opportunities to raise more cash when it presents itself. So that opportunity would be if we get a bounce in the market, taking some of that growth, that gain, and moving it to cash for future cash flow. But for now, I think we have enough in cash.
They're not talking about it, though.
Pardon me?
They're not talking about a bump.
We're not, but last night NVIDIA had a really good earnings report, and that's kind of carried the market this morning. When we were sitting out there, the Dow Jones was up 600 points. So you don't really know what might be the next, the catalyst. Earnings is a big deal. Brian's going to certainly talk on earnings and how that relates to Dearborn. But when we have those positive earnings reports,
Mhm.
it can really affect how the market's performing and give markets some confidence that things are in position. So we don't know that.
Yeah.
I know that the commentary maybe has not been as had as much confidence. But yeah, again, we get a good earnings report and it can change things pretty quickly. That standpoint.
Well, excuse me, I just want to say that 10-year number is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because with the 7.25 being the goal, that's really good. So that's a good block of time,
Right.
not going day to day.
Right.
The only other number I'm waiting for is the 12/31. Actually,
Yeah. That'll help you out with your budget.
yes, so
But you all putting in your dollars though too, and making the payments into the pension, it's a team effort, you know? So that's an important part too, that you all have been very consistent doing.
Maybe you could call somebody at video to do a little report on the 30th of December.
Pre-report, right? Pre-earnings report. The only thing I'm gonna want to just comment on briefly, I think Brian's gonna probably add a lot more color to this, but you know, technology, AI has really been what's moving the market. And we've been talking with clients a lot about possible pullback in the market or repricing of stocks, not a crash or anything, but it's pretty common to have those every 12 to 18 months, and we really haven't had a meaningful one here for a while. And what's been leading the market has been technology. I think we would all agree with that. Your portfolio, the way it's put together currently, has about 24% of equity holdings in technology. That compares to the S&P has about 35%. So we think it's important to have that exposure, but we're not fully in line with the S&P, and that's intentional. Because if we do get a pullback, I think it's likely and reasonable to think that technology will probably lead that pullback more. So we're positioned in case that does happen, but I don't think we always talk about that kind of detail in the portfolio, but I thought it was important because technology is moving the market and it'll move it up and potentially down. So any questions or comments? Turn it over to Brian.
Well, thank you. And thank you is certainly the way to lead what I'd like to share today. It's the 7th year of our relationship. It's the 4th time I've had the privilege of visiting with all of you. So great to see friendly and familiar faces, and just thank you for your trust in Dearborn Partners Rising Dividend Strategy. And my name is Brian Payne, our Regional Director for Dearborn, partner in the firm, based out of Chicago, Dearborn, Chicago headquarters. I've got a piece here, enough of them for the commissioners, if that's okay. And we'll pass that out. It's an overview of the firm, our investment team, and our rising dividend investment strategy that you've trusted some of the pension assets to. I think it's always good to refresh, you know, the health of your partners and the people behind making the very important decisions that you're trusting your pension assets to. So we'll just spend just a couple minutes refreshing that overview. But again, most of all, thank you for your ongoing trust. And it's always fun to come back and visit with my friends here. So we'll start just on the opening page about Dearborn Partners. And we're now a 28-year-old firm, entirely independent, owned by active partners in the firm. Just like the high quality companies we aim to invest your assets in, we have no debt, and again, are entirely independent, focused on doing one thing and one thing only, and that's identifying high quality public equities that pay dividends, and we believe can grow those dividends in mid to upper single digit annual terms. So we want that income stream being generated from the equities that we own on your behalf to grow at 7, 8, 9% a year. And thankfully, and Robert, I love how you mentioned 10-year returns. We think about the world in big time horizons, 10 years being probably one of the most important chunks of time, not 10 days or 10 months, but 10 years. And thankfully, our returns over the past 10 years have been strong, hopefully helping to support the returns you've had overall as a pension. And so has that dividend growth rate, which we focus on with paramount importance. It doesn't get a lot of headlines. CNBC is not going to have breaking news about an 8% dividend increase from Costco, but that's what gets us excited, because we know over long periods of time that quality, that dependability in both earnings growth and dividend income growth, that provides stability in tough markets, which I think is most important for long-term investors, and helps us keep up nicely in up markets. We're not going to overtake NVIDIA when NVIDIA is on its, on a tortoise and a hare analogy. When the hare is in a full sprint, we'll chug along. But eventually the hare needs to take a rest, and we'll be there churning out 8% dividend increases in earnings. And I think that's the way we aim to serve our partners. So thank you for being a partner of us in that long-term journey. So the firm is healthy and strong overall, and our rising dividend portfolio is about $11 billion trusted to that strategy. And then the second page, I think, is a quote that summarizes exactly what we look for in the portfolio companies we invest in. It has to start with a dividend. Every company we own has to pay a dividend of not just a nominal amount, but right around 1% at a minimum. It's not a hard threshold, but it needs to be substantial enough to know there's some income coming in. But the look through of the dividend is most important to that next piece of the quote, where a dividend is a tangible evidence of a company's health. You have to have achieved a certain level of profitability to be able to just have so much money you're going to return some to your shareholders. But the rising dividend aspect, that ability for a company to grow its dividend 7, 8, 9% a year, that's a real tell of a company's strength. And so when economies and markets, inevitably, we know challenging times are just part of life and the economy and the market, inevitably that strength of that growing dividend will provide typically a nice buoy to those investments in those periods of challenge. And I think, especially for a pension, trying to match commitments, to navigate those challenging times through those full market cycles, that's one of the other main benefits we need to provide to you. And thankfully on two fronts. One, we haven't had many opportunities in the last 10 years to prove our mettle to the downside. There haven't been many downturns. 2022 was a down year in the market, and the first quarter of this year. And in both periods, we provided some very nice relative strength in those challenging times. And then finally, just as an overview and an update, and there's other information and data here about our strategy, but for now, in the interest of time, we'll just summarize with a look at our investment team. Sort of our Brady Bunch slide there, page number 4. The team, just like the firm, is healthy and strong. Carol, Mike, and Peter are our 3 co-portfolio managers. Both Mike and Pete have been here alongside me during prior visits to present to you, and they both said to say hello and thank you. And then Matt and John are 2 CFA analysts dedicated to serving just Carol, Mike, and Pete to help identify great rising dividend companies. So the team is healthy and strong. The team's been in place now for almost 10 years together. The strategy's been at Dearborn for 14. And, even though our style of investing hasn't been what's leading the market over these last specifically 7 months, with, as Mike mentioned so well, technology mostly driven by the AI theme has led the market for the last 7 months. We've been producing 9.4% dividend income growth so far this year. I would say that might not be, in our view, appropriately valued by the market this year, but our goal next year, as it is every year, identify companies that are going to grow their earnings and their dividends by 8, 9, 10%. We feel confident in that number for next year. And there's even a part in the appendix here where these strong technology companies, if you want to turn to that last page, just inside the last page on the deck, where it always comes back to earnings, as Mike said, that's what stock prices follow. that you can see for 2023, 24, 25, the difference between the largest technology companies and the rest of the market, the Magnificent Seven and the S&P 493, the gap in earnings for those two cohorts is closing. And next year, the forecast is for those two cohorts' earnings to be about in parity. So, we like where we sit. We know we're, in it for the long run. Price, stock investing eventually always comes back to earnings. What do you actually produce in earnings and dividend income, dividend growth? And our investment team's really confident in what, this year we've been able to produce and what is in store for next year too. Thank you for your trust and the chance to be with you again. Thank you. Please, any questions? Happy to field questions.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate all you're doing for us.
All of them. Thank you.
Come to Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You too.
Jamie, we're back to you. Did you have 250?
Yeah, some of those are from a prior agenda. We're doing our best here with Dawn's absence.
Yeah.
But some things are mistaken. So, anyway.
No invite anything else for the good of the order? No, well, entertain a motion to adjourn and note that we will be meeting in executive session.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.